Alright guys, welcome back to another Warframe video. In the last video, I was testing out some more adjustments I made to Mesa Prime, and I finally got Mesa feeling pretty good for my use in Steel Path level content. Still wasn't the cleanest play sessions I've ever done, but I definitely made it through everything that I attempted, and Mesa is feeling a lot stronger and a lot better. Certainly rolling guard was a really good decision to put on there. The panic button, I think, you know, on any frame that isn't like a Dante or a Rhino or a Frost or somebody that's super tanky, that is probably just going to become part of my default loadout for frames I'm bringing into Steel Path. And the changes I made did a world of good. But today I wanted to get back over onto Atlas. Between the first time I played Atlas and now, I did a lot of grinding, so I got the bulk of his augment mods unlocked, and I have a new one swapped over. Before I show you that, I haven't recorded in probably 5-6 days. It's been pushing a week because I have been busy grinding in the background. So I'll just give you a sense of what all we've got going here. My form is finally done. Let's get another going. I got all of the Ivara Prime parts from the relics. Got that going. That was a bit of a slog. I had some really bad luck with RNG on rad relics this time around. Finally put in the time to finish mining the rest of things I needed to make Gera, so I've got Gera crafting in the background. Over on Prime, I had much better luck than I did with Ivara because I had all but one part that I needed for Oberon while running Ivara. And then it only took me a few runs to get that last part I needed. Finally had the Shade Prime Carapace drop while running Relics as well, so I grabbed that. The Sibaris Prime, this one was painful. It took me 19 rad runs to get the barrel. I believe whatever the Axie S13, whichever relic part that was for, 19 runs. I must have grinded having to get more traces and Aya again. I mean, it had to have been 6 to 8 hours of just back and forth between the last bits of Sibaris and the last bit of Ivara. Gosh, the grinding all of those combined, I mean, it had to have been 10 to 12 hours of just doing nothing but regrinding for Aya and regrinding for Void Traces to go back and try again. But, you know, you can't win them all, but I stuck with it. I got the parts I needed. I got the parts I wanted. So I have some other stuff that's been going on in the background as well, though I don't remember everything that I've been working on. So I guess what I'll do, I'll just jump over here and scroll back through my full list of Warframes, because I feel like there's something else in here that is relatively newly acquired. No, I've had all of that. I've had all of that. I've had all of those. So yeah, there's still a ton I haven't played yet. Nope, I've had all of them. Volt Prime. I did finally get Volt Prime. That actually didn't take me too terribly long, and I ended up spending a ton of ducats for relics from Baraketeer when he was last here, and so now I have a bunch of spares. You know, if anybody doesn't have Volt Prime yet, hit me up. I'm on Xbox anytime, and happy to try to crack those with you to get the parts you need. Yep, Zaku Prime, I got, had that for a while. So there's just a few left I have here. Baruch, I think you get that from Deimos from Father, I feel like, or maybe that was Lavos, or maybe both, I don't remember. Kullervo, yeah, that one's a little grindy. I have one part. I just have to do more of the Duviri. Yeah, speaking of Duviri, I'll get to that in a minute before we move on. Styanax, I'm really close now to. Varuna, I have Varuna's parts crafting, but I need, I think, 50 more Luithrax Plasma to be able to actually craft Varuna. Like I said, I was really busy doing some heavy lifting grind work that I've been putting off for a while. But at any rate, before I move on and we jump in to give Atlas another go, this week I have been soloing Steel Path level Duviri. Better luck with some than others. Let me see. I was doing relic runs again because I didn't really... Yeah, Hildren, maybe Mesa would be I know I would immediately die. But I didn't care for the weapons that were in there. The last run that I did with Dante, so I had pretty good luck because obviously I can keep him going for a while. But all of this is solo work. And I've never attempted Steel Path Deviri solo, and yeah, it's not super simple, but when they drop a decent weapon and a frame you're comfortable with, go for it. So I did, and I stuck with it. So we're very close. I'm going to finish up this week because I want this Okina as a melee to throw on my Frost build, since it will seek out apply max cold stacks. That plays perfectly to his strengths. I thought that might be fun to try out. The other one that I picked was the Sestra. And then related to that, I hadn't done a ton with Incarnates, especially since recently I was trying to move away from Incarnates, just find other alternate options since I had been using the Torrid so much. But I will just jump over to the Chrysalith real quick before we get moving on with Atlas for today. And I'll show you what I've got in the background. One of these is one of the reasons that I have been grinding for the Prime variant of the Sibaris, because there is a Sibaris option.
Killer rat grubber.
Evolve Incarnats. Okay. I did do a little bit of grinding to finally get some evolved in the last 24 hours as well. I finally did the Lex Prime. That's not bad. That's not bad. And then I also had the Boar, which I never evolved either. That's kind of interesting. Not the best shotgun, and it's not the best beam weapon, but it's pretty cool to still have another alternate option. The Bolter, if I wanted to do it. Now, it says Sibaris and Dex Sibaris Incarnate are ready, but I'm assuming that I can also use the Prime variant of the Sibaris, so I wanted to get that one first. That's why I was grinding that. And then the Sestra, of course, I could do. Obviously, it takes a lot of parts. So, like, for instance, if I click on the Sestra, I've only got so many, so kind of picking which one I want to go for. Pathos Clamp you also need for Colorvo. That's kind of why I set most of these Incarnates aside. But I think I will do the Sibaris. It sounds like it's at least interesting. 4-round burst that gains blast. So that doesn't sound like it'll be too OP, but it might actually be fun to play around with. Because the Sibaris I already like. It's a pretty accurate weapon. So get the Prime variant, get all the formas to get it hitting pretty well, and then get to test out another Incarnate eventually when I want to do it. But back to the theme of giving Atlas another go-around and not using Incarnates, I came back to the Tenet Glaxion, which is what I was using before I went back to play around with the Torrid Incarnate, because you could make a strong argument the Torrid Incarnate is better. Though this is not a bad weapon by any stretch. This is the build that I settled on. I've got Vital Sense, Galvanized Chamber, and Aptitude, Serration for some base, Radiated Reload for more status in the background, plus the reload speed. Photon Overcharge. This one I'm not entirely certain how it works, because it says plus 90% critical damage on kill or assist. So does that mean if you get a kill or an assist, it will add on plus 90 crit damage? I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe it's just me, but the verbiage seems a little weird. I'm trying to figure out how in practice that would function. You get one and then you get a 90% damage bonus for how long? It doesn't say anything about a timer. And then, of course, a 2% chance to drop an energy orb per cold status. Now, I don't have cold. I have viral on this. That's by design. I put this mod on for that damage booster. Vial acceleration as well, and the critical delay for the last one. So the numbers are not bad on this. Sinister Reach I did put on. That's a nice quality of life mod on a beam weapon. and then a tier 3 primary merciless. So this thing actually feels pretty good to use. In fact, this came up in rotation when I was doing solo Steel Path level Duviri, and boy, it's super effective in there. It felt super, super good using this, playing by myself in there. Made it much further than I thought that I would, just because the weapon is so strong. So that's what I've swapped back to the last few days. I've been playing around with this and really enjoying it again. The Torrid, it is not, but in a lot of ways, you know, I prefer it. I don't have to land shots to have the beam. The beam's always there. And still Epitaph Prime, of course, and Glaive Prime. Now, the adjustment that I did to Atlas, last time I was basically focusing Landslide. That was my primary focus. I never did the boulders with the tectonics, and I had the dual rumblers, and I had on an augment mod that was geared toward Petrify. So I swapped that off. I'm still just rolling one of his mods. I have a lot of them. I'll just roll. Yeah, I had on Path of Statuses. I also picked up his Rubble Heap, which that was one that I really didn't see how I could get that to come into play, because I never had anywhere near 1,400 rubble at any point while I was playing with him. Orgase seemed like it might be interesting if I ever wanted to farm with that list, just to try to get additional loot to drop. It could go, I think, up to 25 if you max that out. But we're going to focus on today is the Titanic Rumbler. So in lieu of having two, we're doing a single with 300% health, 400% damage, which sounds like it might be pretty decent. So that's what I'm going to test with Atlas today. And we're going to move away from using Landslide as the primary, and we're going to focus more on Tectonics, Petrify when we need to, and keeping the Rumblers up. So I don't want to pull Atlas into Steel Path. I just want to jump back into some bounties. So I figure I'll just pop back over to Zariman again. Let me pop this on solo, take this off of Steel Path. And that's where we're going to jump today. We're just going to play around with some more of his abilities and the augment mod swapped out to see if he feels any better to use. I didn't dislike him, but he really wasn't dishing out the level of punishment that felt like he could handle Steel Path. Not that I have to use all frames of Steel Path, but it's nice to test them to just see how they feel. I guess we'll go for tier 3. There's always that chance that some Lanthorn could drop. Not that it's super necessary, because you get so much from running Netrocells, which I have done every week for weeks and weeks and weeks now. I've already done it again this week. I have quite a lot of Archon shards. I just need to go back to grind Stella. I think it's Mirror Defense, I feel like, is the place where that drops the most often, outside of Netrocells itself.
Corpus attack inbound. They're targeting the reliquary, and the angels will take notice. Build armaments, safeguard the exodampers, and keep the drive stable. Reliquary ahead. Exodampers blunt enemy capability. They'll target them first.
It's one of these.
Get ready. Enemies inbound. You'll need Argosine.
I
Send in
know.
your canister now.
Gonna pull my Rumbler up now. Quick energy cast while that's happening.
You got some Argosine. Go build.
Yeah, I'll build. Well, I guess that's fine.
Armaments in position.
Provoke assault? Yeah, sure. Assault me if you dare. And I'm guessing I can put a tectonic wall up there to block if I want. So like that, and then if I cast it again, I think it'll roll, yeah. That's kind of an interesting ability. Not needed Jade Light hanging out in the background whatsoever. Jump up there, get a little more Argosine, then I'll jump back. Make sure that stays protected. We'll pop up one more. We'll put that one on.
Construction complete.
Let's go on the offensive.
Brace for a fresh wave.
Okay. Obviously, they're going to go to the other one, but I wanted to take that out just a little bit first. And we'll, of course, have to stand here a few rounds. So we ought to get one Void Angel after the next one or two. So it's either 4 or 6 rounds for the Void Angels in this. I forget. I'm sure most of you know immediately off the top of your head, but... Okay. We're going to put one right here. Do the big boy. We'll roll a little rubble wall at him. Petrify him. Whoops. Oh, it's so annoying when you want to reload and you're standing anywhere near those things. Yeah. I have gone down a few times because of that. Pops you into the menu. Having reload as the same input button. You know, there's only so many buttons on an Xbox controller, guys. Let's roll that. I mean, that seems to do decent damage, actually. And if I don't want to use it as damage, I can certainly use it as
not let this wave of
defense.
Scum take out that exo damper.
So now we're going to head back to A. I think we'll have a Void Angel
More Argosy. Don't waste it.
on the next rotation. I like having the beefier Rumbler. Yeah, there's 1 versus 2, but it's got more health, it does more damage. That to me seems like a pretty nice trade-off. Let's put one here. I want to properly see what this does. I mean, that seems to put up pretty decent damage, guys. See? Like right there. I was just trying to reload. I wasn't trying to interact with one of the turrets. Yeah, like I said, the turret, this is not, but it does still feel pretty good to use. Alright, so we'll have one Void Angel. So far, this is already feeling much better than the last time I was using Atlas. No question. And that's just by swapping from focusing Landslide to a beefier Rumbler. Status proc that angel. Oh, will you please? Gotta be kidding me. It's so frustrating.
The angel's trying to retreat into
Okay.
the void so it can heal. Follow it and stop it. You can't hurt it while those dimensional orbs are out. Use your void body to absorb them.
One. Oh, did that get them both? Nope. Really? Void Angel can be super annoying.
covered. Hurry this up.
I would love to. Oh, please! No! No, no! That's the last thing in the world I needed. Come on. Yes! Gosh.
Yes! It won't be shrugging that off.
Wait, 1 round? That doesn't seem right.
Well, look at you.
That's weird. Okay, guys, I wasn't expecting... I was thinking that was taking way longer to take the angel down than it ever has before, but... Pop that up,
They
so...
destabilized the
Yep.
relic. This mission's a failure. It cannot defend itself.
I know.
Protect your exodampers.
I will. I will. Just bear with me one
Reckon
moment,
you could use more
Cavallero.
Argazine?
Always. Get our Rumbler out here, ready to rock and roll. Now this one I do actually want to put up. So that time I did want to interact with it. Yeah, the old Rumbler's feeling pretty beefy. If there were a way to make him just move a little bit quicker, that would be cool, but I'm not complaining.
They're hitting an exodamper. Hit them first.
I'm gonna have to put that up because no, I can't. I swear they're gonna just destroy this thing before I'll ever even be able to get back to it. Hopefully they don't, since there's only one of me.
My Warframe is strong.
Anyway, while we're doing this, rather the point was not so much trying to get through some Zariman Bounties, but to test out Atlas. He feels much better like this, no question. In my opinion, he feels better. Oh, please. Please. it's just incessant. Every time I want to reload. Not enough. I mean, that's not putting out a ton of damage.
Throwing more losers at you.
Let's just get back to A. Trust that B will be fine for a minute.
Argazine canister inbound.
Atlas doesn't feel super fast, nor particularly nimble, but he's supposed to be grounded. So we'll let it slide. There's more Argazine from last time. Don't have enough to do anything with it. we don't need to push too far down there because we got to watch for these other guys. Yep. Alright, so
signature, heading right for the
last Void Angel, then
disabled.
we should be able to head out of here. I'll be curious to see if it does 2 normal phases or if it's like 2 in 1 like it did to me last time. It's the first time I've ever seen that.
Angel is trying to retreat into the void
Okay.
so it can heal. Follow it and stop.
Okay, there we go. Down.
Now it'll stay.
Prime it, zap it. So maybe it just functions a little bit differently if you're going solo. Hey, I'll take a Mult Augmented.
Extract when you're ready.
Yep, and we will. That's awesome. So yeah, getting the bounty done is always nice, but really was much more a test of how Atlas feels. Using him, I still don't think he would be a frame that I would say, hey, I want to play some Steel Path, let's grab Atlas. But I am a little curious just to see if he could actually do it. So maybe I'll take Atlas, we'll go to some earlier areas. Yeah, of course, never get the Lanthorn. Not that it matters, I don't really need it. We'll pop out. Yeah, Atlas is... I've only ever seen a few people using Atlas. And I know it was Atlas because of the Rumblers. I've seen the Rumblers before. Unless that's his subsume ability, that maybe they weren't using Atlas, but somebody was calling out a Rumbler. I have no idea. Just checking on that. That's fine. So yeah, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to swap just to see what happens if I go to Steel Path. We'll go, you start on Earth, so the easiest stuff should be here. A capture mission. Let's try a simple capture Steel Path level 102 to 104 mission. Yes, I've already done this, but that's not the point. Have it 30, 35, 40 enemy levels lower than where I'm actively playing at the moment. I think should make a decent bit of difference. And yeah, no, I forget who mentioned it in my comments, and funny enough, I had caught it just the day before, that there was a mod that lets you start with max energy, which would be really nice to have for a lot of different builds for stuff that I do. I haven't gone back to do the arbitrations yet. Last time I looked, it was currently on defense, and I find the defense ones annoying. So I've just had solo, it's annoying, you can't go that long, and playing with groups, you'll often just the team will want to roll it over again and again and again to the point that you fail and you lose everything. The defense ones annoy me. I'd rather do survival solo and just leave it up to my own devices. Anyway, that's probably decent enough for Atlas. Let's pull us out a Rumbler here. That jerk stole my weapon. Okay, Rumbler's doing a pretty good job there, holding its own. Don't you even think about stealing my weapon.
Target located. Bring them in.
See what that does. Oh, our capture target's running away.
There's a heavy unit approaching. I'm detecting a large security force heading your
Okay.
way. It's the Grenier.
So maybe I can use this to put a little block for me while I do this? Nope. It doesn't block it far enough. So let's just take out these enemies first. And I would like to point out that, yes, Atlas is making it through this, but as I'm playing it, I don't really think it's anything that his kit is bringing to the table. That's the reason why. It is largely rolling guard and having a weapon that's pretty good at dishing out damage. That's my 2 cents anyway.
We Perrin always collect our debts.
Soldier, you have been nominated. Your glory awaits in her fortress.
Yep, went down there. I saw it coming, but I had already hit the panic button and it was on cooldown. Let's just clear those enemies out. That appears really easy for it to miss its target. Also isn't really doing a boatload of damage. What if we petrify first? Oh, no, I'm out of energy, so I can't even test what I wanted to test. Panic button. Yeah. I mean, it does a little more damage if they're petrified, but yeah, that ability isn't really dishing out crazy amounts of damage. I think its usefulness is for crowd control. So really it does come down to the Rumbler as kind of his main thing. So yeah, is Atlas technically able to make it through some steel path? Yeah, sure, he is. Do I think that he's a frame that I'm going to find myself coming back to again and again? No. And he's not unfun. It's just relative to other frame options. He's not bringing at least what I specifically and personally am looking forward to the table. There's just better choices, in my opinion. Just an opinion. I'm sure there are Atlas mains that absolutely love him and would say, oh, dude, your setup is not even close to being right. Here's what you need to do, and then Atlas slaps. And I'm sure that that's the case for the vast majority of frames. And I've said it time and time again. You know, probably a large part of my opinions about many of these are just my lack of having gotten deep enough and enough playtime with them to figure out their synergies and what works best. But from what I've experienced up to this point, he's not one that I'm going to be coming back to again and again and again. He's fun enough. It's just there's other frames that do similar things to what he can do, but better. So that's kind of where I am. Not a waste of time at all. Obviously, I wanted to play through all the frames anyway. I'm sure I'll come back, play around with a few other things, but I'm going to leave it at that for Atlas. We got through at least some base level Steel Path. He's not dishing out crazy amounts of damage with his abilities. He's not super tanky with his abilities, but I think what he does work well for with that rock wall in particular is crowd control. He can use it to block entrances and exits, and yes, if I go back in here and look, there's one where you can't roll the boulders with it, but it gives it more health or something. Is it this one? Or no, which one is it? Rubble Heap? No, that's not it. It's one that I haven't picked up yet. Let me go check out Steel Meridian real quick. I might be able to pick it up now. Oh, I haven't.
Anything you need, Tenno.
Atlas, where are you? It is Tectonic Fracture. Create up to 3 walls with 100% health. You can no longer turn them into boulders. I think that would be a pretty good one to pick up once I have the points for, at least for Atlas, because frankly, his boulders don't do enough damage to really warrant even rolling them in the boulders, but he could be really, really good at blocking ingress-egress by being able to throw up 3 walls with 100% health. That's kind of where I see Atlas functioning, as a crowd control frame. But again, even as a crowd control frame, I feel like there's other crowd control frames that do it better. Not a criticism. Like I said, I'm sure there are people that main Atlas that just absolutely slap with him and bring a ton to the table to the team. But from the limited bit that I've played him and kind of what I've seen and experienced, that's kind of where I'm sitting. I think that his main function would be for crowd control and using the walls for it, and then, having a nice rumbler to deal some damage. Petrify's not bad at all. His landslide punch is not bad. It's just for the stuff that he has that's actually putting out damage. It's not putting out enough to warrant using him as like an ability casting frame for damage output versus other stuff. You're using his abilities to kind of have them there going in the background while basically you're using your weapons that are doing the bulk of the heavy lifting. That's totally fine. That's just my off the cuff. From the bit that I've put in with Atlas, that's where I am. So, yeah, we'll come back to Atlas. Once I get a little more background work, I'll play around with his wall. I'll probably like to do that with a group, though. Oh, gosh. I don't know what any group with... What's this guy bringing Atlas in? I don't know. Like I said, he's a frame I've only ever seen once or twice in the year and a half I've been playing this now. Either way, guys... that is as far as we're pushing today. Just wanted to jump in, show you some of the stuff I've got going in the background, give Atlas another run with a little modified setup. Next video, I'm not exactly sure yet. I haven't decided what I'm going to be doing yet. If it's going to be Steel Path Progress or focusing on something else. Yeah, I am glad that I gave Atlas another go. There's no question that he felt better with focusing on the other abilities and swapping out the augment mod. Now, to have him with the Rumbler and the Rockwall, the Rumbler is clearly his most heavy-hitting ability. Whether or not it's necessarily his most useful is neither here nor there. I don't know as though it would make sense to run 2 augment mods on him, but if you were so inclined, I guess you could roll the Titanic Rumbler with that tectonic wall one that I'm going to pick up next time I hit 25,000 with Steel Meridian. But be that as it may, no question he feels better by just swapping around and focusing on different abilities outside of his landslide punch. Wasn't bad, just wasn't really pumping out the damage numbers to make him super conducive to, be making it worthwhile relative to the amount of energy it was using up to continue using it, I guess is the best way I'm trying to say it. But either way, definitely feels better. Like I said, again, it could just be my lack of exposure with him. I have an idea for his use case. I just, for me, I don't think he's one that I'm probably going to be coming back to again and again and again. And certainly, you know, I'm sure there are Atlas mains that could give me a lot of tips and ways to set him up and things to consider that make him absolutely slap, just like pretty much any frame in this game is viable. Just for my purposes, at least from what I've experienced, I would gravitate towards other frames before grabbing Atlas. But that's neither here nor there. That's just my experience and my thoughts. Certainly we'll come back. I'm going to grab a few more augment mods to play around with him. But at least I feel like we've given him mostly a fair shake. So yeah, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. As always, I do sincerely appreciate you checking in, and we will catch you on the next one.